Attack on Titan Wings of Freedom is what happens when you mix Dynasty Warriors with Spider-Man. Whizzing across a battlefield may seem exciting in an anime, but how well does it translate to a video game? Attack on Titan, or Shingeki no Kyojin, is a Japanese manga series created by Hajime Isayama that began September 9th of 2009, which would eventually go on to become an anime in 2013. When the anime came out, it was met with very high critical acclaim from not only anime fans, but also with the mainstream audience. Much like Dragon Ball Z did in 1998, Attack on Titan gave people who weren't on board with anime a reason to give them a chance yet again. Apparently, Hajime wanted to go for the classic and then everybody dies at the end, before realizing that this might actually become something big. Probably why Season 2 has still yet to come out. The story takes place in the fictional future of 845, 100 years after the first wave of these Titans arrived. Titans are giant butt-naked ass humanoid beings described to be anywhere from 3 to 15 meters tall, with a variety of different types. The strangest ones are known as abnormals and don't act like your usual walk casually eat humans kind of Titans. These abnormals can do anything from jump to run like morons. While most are male, there are a few female Titans, because in a world full of men, a few badass females must rise to the occasion. The shittiest thing about being a Titan is that you don't have a dick. In order to defend themselves from the Titans, humanity has built 3 walls. Wall Maria, the outer wall, where only poverty and stupid would live, since it is literally the last wall protecting them from Titans. Why they don't have a 4th wall with nothing in it but defenses and the like, I will never know. Wall Rose, the middle wall for the middle class. And Wall Sheena, which is the innermost wall, where the king and all the rich people are sheltered and protected. If you've ever seen the movie The Purge, you know what kind of system they run here. They also have a military divided into 3 groups. The Garrison, which acts as the force protecting the wall from Titans and patrolling, repairing, and upgrading where needed, who will rarely, if ever, engage a Titan. The Military Police Regiment, as the name would suggest, they maintain the order to all of humanity, as well as protecting the king, who will never fight a Titan. Then finally, the Scout Regiment. Their job is to go outside of the walls, studying the Titans, expanding human territory, and exploring the outer areas of the walls. They are certain to see more Titan action than any other regiment, and are the class most voted to die in every yearbook. Only the most screwed up people would want to join this regiment. And when I say screwed up, I am obviously talking about people who lived in Wall Maria. The story follows the annoying Eden Beamer, his horny adopted sister, Mikado Mackerel, and his possible butt buddy and childhood friend, Charmin Arlene. The 3 lived in Wall Maria until they joined the military to fight the Titan shortly after their wall was breached by the Colossal Titan, which is a mysterious Titan that stands at an impressive 50 feet tall. This Titan allowed their wall to be taken over by a large amount of Titans, killing all who got in their way by eating them. When the game was being advertised, it offered up pre-order bonuses in America for Amazon, Best Buy, and GameStop, which are the cleaner costumes for Eren and Levi, which can both be received at the same time after beating a request, so that one is pointless, and a festival costume for Mikasa, which is just Mikasa in a dress for all the hopeful upskirt action you can ever want from Mikasa. If you pre-order the game from the PSN store, you will only receive avatars for your PSN account. Yay. Europe was the only one offering a collector's edition, which would come with the official scouting report containing an art book that shows off all the lovely art of this game, as well as some information on parts of the game, a muffler tab with Levi, Eren, and Mikasa, and no Armin because he sucks, 6-pin badges with the Titan, Eren, Mikasa, and Levi, still no Armin because he sucks, the official game soundtrack, and a unique costume for Armin. Fuck you, Armin. Now that you know what kind of world these guys live in, let's get right into the review. First up are the graphics of the game. The game does a fantastic job at mimicking the source material. The characters are instantly recognizable, and it stays true to the art style of the anime. Mikasa's ass looks a lot smaller, but then again, maybe these pictures are giving me a false impression of just how big her butt really is. Krista's still adorable, and he still has her sexy Jew nose. Armin looks even more like a useless character that I will never care about, and Eren? Well, Eren still looks and acts like he has a mental disability, and is also a character I will never care about. Each character stands and moves around in a way that is set to gender. Sasha will act exactly the same as Mikasa, and Levi will act no different than Connie. That said, the animations are done very well, especially in CGI cutscenes. The game is set up between 2 hub worlds, one inside Wall Rose and the other being the Scout Regiment camp outside the walls. Each room has a lot of care put into how they look. Whether it's the shop, the cafeteria, the classroom, or the barracks, the areas inside the wall are very well detailed. Then there's the scout base. Although smaller, it is just as detailed. There's a few tents laying around that you can enter that mimic the classroom, cafeteria, and the shops of Wall Rose. There's just enough detail in the areas to keep it nice to look at, but not much of anything to distract you from the game. There are characters from the show and random civilians walking around everywhere, and they will speak to you in a variety of very generic lines for that lovely low-budget immersion. When getting to the actual maps, any Attack on Titan fan will feel right at home. The maps are meant to copy off the show, and they do a great job at doing it. Forests, cities, and open fields with small villages thrown here and there. The game always looks great. The water ripples as you run through it, and when you blast away with your ODM gear, a streak of gas leaks out, darting you forward, encasing your character in a ball of wind as the screen blurs out to show your speed. When you kill a Titan, your character is covered in blood to give you that satisfying feeling when you win on a massacre. Doesn't Krista look great covered in blood? Titans still have their iconic creepy faces, which would give any grown man nightmares if they saw it in real life, which makes it all the more enjoyable when you see their smiles turn to frowns of pain as you mutilate their bodies, and then they disappear in a smoky mass. It's just very satisfying. The game does a wonderful job at matching the anime style and keeping the environments different from one another, and that's just neat. So how does the game sound? Well, if you ever seen Attack on Titan, you'll be happy to know that whether you're whizzing through the air or slicing up Titans, it sounds just like how it does in the show. A satisfying boom erupts when you use your boost in the air, and the gas leaking can be heard as it pours out from behind you. Slicing off body parts is complemented by the Hollywood noise of a sword swing. When sending out your ODM gear, you can hear it open and latch on before the spine of your character is destroyed as they get flung forward. The music of the game is just fantastic, keeping the feeling of urgency at all times while you play, and then upbeat bits of music when you're preparing in the camps for your next Titan slaughter session. Sadly, the opening themes of the anime are nowhere to be found in the game, instead being replaced with a Halo-like gothic opera chorus which just cannot take the place of those songs. A majority of the music doesn't fall far from the show and is definitely a pleasure to listen to. Koei Tecmo is a company that faithfully keeps all their games voiced in Japanese with no English actors ever, regardless of having the actors available or not. It just seems that they can't be bothered. This game is no exception to that rule. So for all the weeaboo otakus out there who think Japanese voices are the greatest things anime has ever graced everybody with, the game is by default fully voiced in Japanese with English subtitles, and there is no way to switch to English voices. Now while it's not necessary to read what they are saying, outside of a cutscene you could miss unique dialogue and even full conversations that you wouldn't have seen otherwise while fighting Titans. They will mostly repeat lines anyway, so it's not a big deal. But damn, am I the only one who seriously hates the hell out of Hanji's voice? Not only does she sound like a man, her voice is almost as annoying as Armin's character in the show. From what I can tell, they all do a great job of acting, but then again, they could be the worst actors of all time in Japan, and we wouldn't even know. The story follows the anime as much as it can. It starts out after Eren has already completed his training and pits you against the dummy Titans to get a grip on the game. It has an extra story thrown in the middle as well to better introduce the Scout Regiment before returning to the story's roots, which was a very nice touch. The events will take you through all of Season 1. After completing the game, you can go through an epilogue, which is the game's own unique story and introduces a variety of new Titans not yet seen in the show, as well as some returning Titans such as the Armor Titan. The game doesn't do a great job at explaining how each character acts, but it gets all the main plot points, so if you were looking for any form of character development or find out backstories, you won't find it here as it ignores most of those subjects. I wouldn't recommend using this game as your way to watch the anime. The cutscenes are set up in real-time cinematics, which are beautifully animated and such a joy to watch, but the game is mostly plagued by the typical RPG cutscenes that have become so popular as of late, where all the characters stand in a group or backdrop and have a conversation while random animations will play to display a character's emotion, showing no life whatsoever. You can put these on autoplay, so whenever they're done speaking Moonspeak, it'll play the next batch of Moonspeak, or you could skip them entirely. Now for the thing we all want to hear about, the gameplay. The game may appear at first glance to be another Dynasty Warriors clone, however it is far from it. A mix of RPG and mindless action, this is a game that will entertain you for hours, or at least until you complete the story. There's a decent variety of characters to choose from. 10 to be exact. The entire cast of characters are sadly not there, and that was a big disappointment when I found this out. It was even more aggravating when the characters can become your companions and even change their outfits as the story progresses. Omega Force, what if I want to play as Levi Squad? Too bad. Ymir? Nah. Rico maybe? Nah. I was really hoping to play as some of the more important characters, you know, like fucking Annie. Are we just gonna forget all the things she's capable of in this show? Seriously, what the fuck, Omega Force? How can you fuck this all up? The characters are available as team members to fight with and even have their own skill levels, but you don't make any of them playable. You made games containing a large cast of characters, but this one was too hard for you. And don't give me that excuse about characters not being part of the Scout Regiment, and don't even dare try to say that villains can't be playable. You think I forgot about the One Piece Pirate Warriors? I can play as any villain I want. Hyrule Warriors? Arslan Warriors of Legend? And please, don't try to defend them. They have literally no excuse for this tiny roster of characters, and I can't believe they didn't take the opportunity for this. From Aaron to Erwin, each character basically plays the same, but slightly different. Allow me to explain. Each character you choose essentially falls into one of three categories. The leader type, which are Hanji, Armin, and Erwin. The OP types, which are Levi, Mikasa, and Erwin again. And then there's a character who can literally turn into a Titan. They tried to make every character unique, however in reality they aren't, and that sucks. The gameplay is set up very simplistic, but it definitely works. Lock onto a Titan's body part, latch onto said body part, charge it, then slice it off. Some characters can use a slash from overhead to kill Titans, while others are able to use a rotating slash to deal a much larger amount of damage than an average attack. And some characters can even attack multiple times. Now, stats of your characters are separated into 6 categories. Strength determines how strong a character's attacks are. Dexterity determines how much gas will be used and how fast their swords will break. Concentration changes how much the focus time can be activated when you're near death. Health determines how many times a Titan can damage you, as well as make it easier to wiggle out when a Titan grabs you. Stamina changes how long a character can be anchored to a Titan, and finally, leadership increases the level of damage your team members can deal to a Titan. The problem with this system is that it's all fixed. No amount of leveling up your character will change their stats. Krista will always have the lowest stats, and Levi will always have the highest. Period. The levels in this game are used to unlock skills, and each character has 7 preset skills to unlock. For the most part, they all have different skills, while some share skills such as Levi, Aaron, and Mikasa each have the rotating slash ability. I would have much preferred it if I could not only selectively raise my character's stats, but also if I was able to set the damn skills myself. Seriously, at this point, Chris is only good for getting rare materials, and that sucks. Now, all that said, there are ways to manually change how a character performs by changing their equipment. You can help them in areas they lack, so essentially any and all characters will end up being OP either way. Every character shares the same inventory, so you will always use the same items regardless of the characters you play as. You can change their blades, which will have their own attack powers, blade lengths, and durability. You can then change their scabbards, canisters, which change how fast they fly through the air, how much gas you have, and how many extra blades you can hold. And you can even change your ODM gear, which can speed up how fast you reel into a Titan, send out an anchor from farther distances, and keep yourself attached to Titans longer. The first thing you will notice when you enter a mission is how cluttered the screen is. The minimap will take up most of the right side, while random conversation boxes will take up the rest. The left side shows your character's remaining gas, weapon durability, decisive battle signal gauge, the items you can use, and members in your party. The minimap will be covered with red icons for Titans, blue shields which represent your allies, and you will also see backpack icons which you can use to resupply your lost items. Green exclamation marks symbolize side missions, red missions main missions, and gray is your special bosses. The movement of the game works very well and is close to the show as it can be, which is great. Movement is set up into 3 modes: omnidirectional mobility, combat mode, and horse riding. Omnidirectional mobility, or ODM mode, activates whenever you leap off the ground by either firing off your anchors, which will fling you forward, or using gas to boost you forward and curve into the air. The camera works surprisingly well at keeping track of your character. Your ODM gear will shoot out in front of you in whichever direction your character is facing, and since you'll mostly be holding forward while moving, it's hard to get confused on where your character is being flung, so it's not common for you to get lost. And it's rare for a building or outpost to obstruct your view, but it won't matter much even if they do, as you'll quickly fly away from it. If you use your ODM gear while heading toward a wall, your character can initiate a wall run in whatever direction you want, which is a nice alternative and won't force you to lose momentum. Using your ODM gear will eat up your gas meter, and boosting will eat it up faster. Without it, you won't be able to boost, and you will move at a significantly slower pace. To initiate combat mode, you get close to a Titan and lock onto them. While locked on, you can no longer move the camera freely, as it will now be focused on the Titan. You can instead select which body part you want to anchor to. At the top of the screen, the anatomy of the Titan will appear, and this will let you know what part of the Titan you are locked onto, as well as tell you if your body part has a material that you can get after chopping it off. Once you have a body part selected, you will anchor to that part whenever you use your ODM gear. A small blue meter will appear, signifying how long you can stay anchored on before you let go. If anything gets in the way of your anchor, it can snap off of the Titan. The longer you stay anchored to a Titan, the more gas you will lose. By moving left or right, you will circle around the Titan. If you choose not to move in a direction, the character will automatically charge at the selected body part. When a ball of wind appears around your character, this means they gained enough speed to attack. By pressing the attack button, you will do damage to the selected body part. This can cause some really odd glitchy behavior where the Titan will move in weird ways, like clipping under the ground or appear to be mounting a building. I even had one instance where it looked like a normal Titan was riding an abnormal. But you don't really notice these glitches, it usually happens in a way that looks intentional. As long as it's not breaking the game, I don't really care. You are graded with medals on how well you kill, or as they call it, subjugate a Titan, and you can get more money from killing them with efficiency. If you don't have enough speed to attack a Titan, you only do a little bit of damage. If the body part you're attacking is obstructed, you will either hit another body part, or the attack will miss entirely. When Titans are bunched together, it is sometimes really hard to get the Titan you want, and even worse if you're trying to save a party member or a VIP. The only way to kill a Titan is by attacking its nape. Some Titans, such as the Armor Titan and Female Titans, can guard their nape until you have completely removed their limbs. Each time you attack a Titan, the durability of your blades will decrease. Characters such as Jean and Levi are fortunate enough to be able to throw their broken or use blades at a Titan for extra damage, while most characters will have to land and wait for an animation to play out, leaving them vulnerable to be grabbed. Flying too close or standing near a Titan will allow it to grab you. If you are grabbed by a Titan, you'll be forced to mash a button until you escape, or the Titan will eat you, and that means game over. Escaping the Titan will put you in the near death mode. You won't be able to jump and therefore can't boost yourself off the ground, and you will move slower. You can still enter ODM mode and boost that way. If you are attacked while in near death mode, you will enter focus time, which slows down the game and allows you to jump out of the way of the Titan before they grab you. Each character can only use this a certain number of times. If you run out of focus time, getting grabbed again while in near death will kill your character. You can use a restorative to heal yourself back to full health. You not only have restoratives, you also have flash grenades and sound grenades, which are used on Titans that use their sight or ears to sense humans and can temporarily stun them. Or you can use Molotovs, which deal large amounts of damage to any body part of the Titan. You can take all of these with you, so you don't need to choose. Killing a Titan will sometimes make a comrade pop out that the Titan had eaten. You can then loot their bodies for items. Since people love choice, you don't have to use your ODM gear to fight. You can fight Titans on the ground. Although you won't do as much damage and you'll probably get grabbed by the Titan, you still have that choice, and I guess that's great. There are areas such as the open field where you cannot grapple onto anything and your ODM gear becomes useless. You are able to boost, but this will quickly eat up your gas and then render you useless. At times like these, you will need to enter horse riding. By mounting yourself onto a horse, you can defeat the need to use your gas and traverse the open fields as fast as your horse can take you. You can still use your ODM gear and enter combat mode from off your horse, and this is also the only time where you'll be able to replenish your blades and gas while you move, so use that to your advantage. You can recruit a team up to 4 other members, each with their own grades, and it's better to have a full team as each member added lets your partners do more damage. The higher the grade, the more damage they do as well. By completing side missions or recruiting a character you find on the battlefield will add that character to your party. If your party is full, you'll be asked which character you want to remove. You can give your team 3 orders. Fan Out, which tells the team to attack any Titans nearby, Escort, which tells them to protect VIPs and allies, and Focus, which makes them attack the Titan you are attacking. If you are playing as a character such as Hanji or Armin, the Focus command turns into Order and you can directly tell your team what body parts to attack. Some members will give you items if you're standing close to them as well. Moving around with your ODM gear is always fun to give you a nice rush your first play through the game. After mastering it, you'll be able to play mostly every level without touching the ground at all. By using the system called Decisive Battle Signal, all of your health is restored, you gain a small amount of blade durability and gas back, you can boost much faster and as many times as you want without losing gas, your blades won't break, and all of your abilities are enhanced. The ability also calls extra reinforcements, and any troops in your command at that time will instantly attack whatever Titan you're locked onto. Each time you use this ability, the duration lasts longer and more reinforcements come at your side. If you're playing as a Titan shifter, the Decisive Battle will be replaced with the Titan ability. The Titan form allows you to grab, throw, and instantly kill most Titans in hand-to-hand combat. This is great to use on bosses, and even better when you're just having fun. Depending on how much you've used the Decisive Battle Signal will determine its effectiveness. You raise this bar a bit anytime you chop up body parts of a Titan, kill a Titan, or complete a side missions, which will fully raise the bar. It's best to use the ability as much as you can. You can extend the amount of time you have left by chopping off more Titan parts, killing more Titans, or completing another side mission. However, the only way to extend the duration permanently is to re-enter it. You can prematurely cancel the move by pressing the button again and re-enter after you fill the gauge. This still counts as a use and you keep any remaining points you have left. I'd recommend canceling it right before you finish another side mission to keep the streak going further and extend the time. Figure out what's best for you. If you're good enough, you can last the majority of the match in the decisive battle signal. When you do first start up the game, you have two game modes to choose from: Attack Mode and Expedition Mode. Attack Mode features the main story of the game, taking you through all of Season 1 and adding in an epilogue at the end. Until you beat the story, you won't be able to choose a character. You'll be playing as Aaron through the majority of it, but the story will sometimes change your character. In both Expedition and Attack Mode, once you have chosen your character, you have to return to the main menu to switch them. You will eventually be able to enter the hub of the game inside of Wall Rose, and from here you'll be able to talk to a variety of characters, accept requests, replay story missions, and advance for the main story. By completing missions, you will level up your regiment, unlocking new equipment, horses, and craftable materials. You can also level up your characters here, and since the story will change them at certain times, some characters will be level 4 while others will be levels 1 and 2. You'll also unlock characters as you progress through the story. You'll be able to buy statues of titans you've killed and show them off in Expedition Mode. You can go to the shop and buy your equipment. Leveling up your regiment will allow you to buy more materials, horses, and better equipment. You can sell any weapons or materials you find for extra regiment funds. From the equipment supply station, you can enter equipment modification where you will use materials that you found or bought to upgrade the ranks of your blades, ODM gears, and gas canisters. Through fortification, you can use any extra equipment you have to raise the statue with base equipment. You will also be able to access a large amount of survey missions from here. As you progress through the story, the characters you play as will unlock costumes. One of the camp requests will unlock a special costume for Levi and Aaron, and they will even show up in cutscenes. It's so nice they added this tiny chance to customize the characters you play as. The requests you accept mostly involve you heading into a mission and finishing that request, which you will usually complete on your first try. Each request will have 3 parts, with the third completion resulting in a special conversation event. At any point of the game, you can check what requests you have. Each time you complete a survey mission, a meter will go up, which will unlock a character's 3D model to view in the game's gallery, where you can hear them make noises and sounds. You can also view expressions and any costume unlocked for characters you can play as and cannot play as, and other things in the gallery like replay cutscenes, listen to music, look at the field equipment, check out all time variation information on each character, but who cares. Expedition Mode plays similar to Attack Mode, except you aren't following the story and can't accept any requests. You'll be able to choose any character you have unlocked in Attack Mode. From here you can freely level up your regiment as well as any character you play as, and use the same shops you have in Attack Mode. After selecting a character, you can choose to either go it alone or play online. A new mode can be selected here called Expedition Mode, which allows you to play a pre-made collection of survey missions without breaking until you've completed them. You can choose to stop playing them at any time, but playing fully through them will give you more experience and more money. If you're playing online, it's also a much better choice than choosing a specific mission and then going back to base, then choosing again. When you are playing online, you are at the host camp. That said, anybody can change the mission at any time while in camp. You can play as any character you want, even if another person is already playing that character. But usually people will be playing as Levi and Mikasa anyway. Also, being invited to a game may or may not work. Everybody gets the same party members as well, and the people you are online with do not count as part of that party. If a party member is down by a Titan, you have 1.5 minutes to revive them, which is actually a lot of time. There will be some instances where the players in Expedition Mode will take a while to load in, and there will also be times where you join a room and the host isn't even playing the game. The only reason I mention this is because even if all the players have readied up, the host is the only one who can begin the game. After playing missions in Expedition Mode, you'll find that characters will become overpowered fast, which will end up in you one-shotting most Titans, even in the story. When on the battlefield, there are special traps you can lead the Titan into walking to. Taunting a Titan will draw them toward you, but taunting is mostly pointless and only used in one mission. It's cool to see multiple Titans fly into the air, but you'll realize the first time you use these traps, it's utterly useless, and you'd be better off just killing the Titan with your ODM gear. If I was able to set up these traps myself, I would love to have fun with them instead of luring a Titan halfway across the map just to see 1 or 2 of them fly in the air. It is good crowd control if you're fortunate enough to have one close by, which is nearly never. You can also use cannons, which actually come in handy and are just as effective as ODM gear. You can hit Titans from far distances, but they can easily be destroyed by any passing Titan. Whether in Attack Mode or Expedition Mode, each mission will have side missions, special missions, and final subjugation missions. Side missions will appear throughout the stage right as most battles begin. They will involve anything from escorting civilian and killing Titans that stop them, to killing all the Titans that appear in the area. Special missions are unlocked by completing special requirements, by killing a certain number of Titans, completing all side quests, and or doing an objective in a set amount of time. After completing all the requirements for a special mission, a dire subjugation will appear, allowing you to fight a special boss Titan. Defeating this Titan will give you more rewards or rare materials to use. The final subjugation Titan will complete the mission you are on instantly, regardless of any quest left unfinished and remaining Titans on the battlefield. In total, the battlefield is where you will spend most of your time. Throughout the story, you will have a good variety of things going on to keep you interested until you finally beat the game. After the story, the game becomes monotonous. Every mission is a cardboard cutout of the last one, and there's rarely a special objective added in. They will play exactly like this. Enter mission, kill all Titans in the area, do all side missions, unlock Dire Titan mission, kill Dire Titan, kill final boss, go back to camp, begin next mission. Or if you're playing online, the missions will sometimes go like this. Enter mission, attempt to get materials from Titan, player kills Titan instantly. Attempt to get materials from boss Titan, player kills Titan instantly. Go back to camp, begin next mission. Or, enter mission, all players want to kill all Titans in area and complete side mission. One person doesn't understand this, kills final subjugation Titan instantly, or waits until the end for the Dire subjugation, then kills the final subjugation Titan before the Dire subjugation Titan. And my favorite, enter mission, kill one Titan, final boss is killed, go back to camp, begin next mission. The game can get repetitive pretty fast after beating the story. The epilogue shows a lot of potential on how they could have structured the survey missions, however they passed on this opportunity. In order to unlock the epilogue missions, you must complete a certain amount of survey missions. Thankfully, you don't have to do all of them. If you're playing online, you'll fly through the missions, but that doesn't make them any more fun, and it actually makes it easier to see the flaws. You can play this game on easy, normal, and hard, but I was never able to tell the difference. The endgame content comes directly after completing the epilogue, giving you a new mode called True Attack Mode. If you ever thought this game was too easy, then this mode is for you. You can still get S ranks really easy, unless you're trying your hand at a Dire subjugation. The gameplay is the same as normal attack mode, but the Titans have more health, defense, and a much smarter AI. Expect to be grabbed a lot. If you're fresh out of the campaign, don't even think about attacking your first Dire subjugation. You will be eaten in a matter of seconds. While playing True Attack Mode, you'll notice that you'll lose gas and break your blades a lot faster. This is not a mode for people just looking for a fun time. You will need to think before you act. Boosting across the map is the best way to lose all of your gas before even reaching the third Titan on your list. Yes, the normal Titans are still relatively easy, but they are smarter and you will be in focus time more than you have ever been. After completing this mode, you will unlock hard mode for multiplayer, and yes, it is rough. Sticking with your friends will keep you alive. Going solo will have you wishing you stuck with your group. True Attack Mode and Hard Mode Online is where the game begins to shine. The monotonous gameplay will still be there, but the new tactic way of thinking will keep you entertained and on your toes. The DLC in this game will consist of costumes, weapons, and scenarios. Although I would prefer if games would just let me complete challenges and certain missions to unlock costumes, I will always be weak to making my character look better. Sadly, the lineup for DLC outfits only focus on Mikasa, Armin, Eren, and Levi, so you won't be finding any love if you have any other favorite characters. I personally only like the Japanese New Year costumes, but the DLCs come with a few episodes, so I just might invest in all of them. Luckily, no characters are planned to be DLC, and if they were, that would put a hit on gameplay. Nobody likes having to pay for extra characters, am I right, Battlefield? Now, the DLC in total will equal 16 costumes, 4 weapon sets, and 9 episodes. But on a serious note, can I get some Annie love in the next game? That'd be great. With all these things added up, I present my final score of Attack on Titan: Wings of Freedom. This game is above average. The game is a really fun experience. The mechanics are enough to keep you coming back again and again, or you may even pick it up again weeks later to get your dose of Titan killing to wait for Season 2. The $60 price tag is a little overpriced for what this game has to offer, and I'd recommend waiting for a discounted price. But if you're a fan of the game and you like what you see, by all means support the developers by buying it full price. There's a lot left to be desired in this game. The story does a great job at keeping you entertained with special objectives, handicaps, and unique missions, yet after completing it, you'll find the game loses all of that appeal to the quests and missions that only focus on you killing Titans, which act the same. It's so unchallengingly easy to kill a majority of the Titans, considering that the normal Titans just stand in one spot waiting for you to kill them. As a first game, it does a wonderful job at adding things you can do, from collecting different weapons, offering a small but moderately acceptable cast of characters to level up, and giving you many missions to play. The game sadly falls boringly flat after the story completes, and it's a borefest if you're playing this game in bulk. Adding a new mode that encourages you to work together to reach certain conditions, and maybe even modes that choose a character for you for special what-if type stories would add a good variety the game just lacks. More objectives and different ways to complete missions are requirements that I will be looking for if they make a second game. Attack on Titan Wings of Freedom is a leap in the right direction. The mechanics are solid and work well, the characters and environments complement each other, but more effort for mission objective variety and better character customization will improve this game heavily. Hey, thanks for watching. Leave a comment to let me know what you think about my opinions. Am I correct? Am I absolute trash? Or am I that fine line in between? Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video.
おい、立てるか。とにかく馬に乗れ。